This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Whoa, the Tigers are swept out of LA, 7-3 the final in tonight's game, and we'll break it all down. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma, formerly with 97.1 The Ticket, the Tigers flagship radio station, now with Locked On Tigers and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. This is your post-game destination, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, on YouTube, it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. This is not how anyone wanted to start the season. And you have to put the swept emoji, the broom emoji on after the Tigers get swept out of LA. 7-3 the final tonight. What went wrong? What went right, if anything? The Reese Olson start. Kenta Maeda was on the mound tonight. We're going to talk about it all. So buckle up, dial it in. It's a live Locked On Tigers postcast. As always, make sure you like the Locked On Tigers YouTube page. And as always, subscribe as well. Shout out to Scott Bentley on Locked On Tigers on the Daily Show for the deep dive. Check that out, night in and night out, day in and day out. And we've got you covered here on the post-game show. As always, we'll take your comments as well. So I want to hear how you're feeling after a 3-game sweep at the hands of the LA Dodgers. And we begin tonight's show with kind of just going over what you saw over the course of the 3-game series against the Dodgers, and 2 heartbreakers. And we've talked about them the last 2 nights, obviously with the opener and everything that transpired in that one. And then last night with the late game roller coaster of a game, some ups, some downs. You felt like you had it won. And then Mookie Betts ultimately with the walk-off homer. And then tonight, just too little, too late, not enough. And for Reese Olson, kind of a bummer because he gives up that 2-run double to Teoscar Hernandez. Can't get out of the 5th inning. 4 2/3 for Reese Olson. 4 runs he gave up. He gets hit with the loss. So tonight was the night, though. It lacked a little bit of the first 2 nights I'm dialed in every pitch, and tonight it just felt like the Tigers didn't have it. And I know that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. And if we want to go through all of the different components of why they didn't have it, sure. But I watched that game tonight, and it just felt like this is a ball club that was a little bit emotionally checked out. And I think what happened, in my humble opinion, when you have 8 of the first 12 batters reach and you only score 2 runs against a juggernaut of a team like the LA Dodgers, they're coming back. That it's going to be an uphill battle. So there were opportunities to build an early lead that the Tigers just, again, were unable to take advantage of. And you leave the bases loaded in the first inning. And I know you score the 2 runs, but my goodness, you had Sasaki on the ropes in his big league debut. He goes just an inning and 2/3, gives up the 3 hits, the 2 earned runs, but it could have been so much more. He walked 4 batters. And I think he threw 40 plus pitches in that opening inning, and you settle for the 2 runs. The Tigers still, to this point in this season, have not had the big hit. And that just gets so frustrating to watch because they're capable, and this is a good ball club. And I know it's only 3 games, and the Dodgers are a juggernaut and a fantasy team, like everything we've said already in the first 3 episodes of Locked On Tigers post-game show. And yet it still feels deflating and disheartening where this team is at after 3 games. But I'm going to calm down because after a rare off day on Sunday, which is also so weird to say out loud, the Tigers off tomorrow. They head to Seattle for a road series in Seattle before coming home on opening day to begin things at Comerica Park on Friday. Of course, that's always a highlight in Detroit, but man, this team needs to get in the win column. So let me know how you're feeling. Thanks for staying up as always. I shouldn't say as always, but for this opening series being on the West Coast, thanks for staying up. We begin with Luis Navarro, says Dodgers will do this to every team this year. No shame in being swept as long as they bounce back when they go home. Well, we got to bounce back before going home because you got the 3 against Seattle in Seattle, and it would be nice to, I don't know, get a couple of wins before coming home. This is from Day Train. Tigers facing the Dodgers, but the Tigers showing they don't mess with Dodger fans here. Tigers should be proud going into the season. Well, I don't think they're proud to be 0-3. David Gustafson says no shame in being swept. This is where we are at yet again. A lot of Dodger fans in here, so no producer on hand. I'm gonna have to hire a producer to read through and sift through all the comments and just give us the good ones like they used to do at 97 The Ticket on the old ticket text there. But Matt Wood says we need Colt Keith to find his timing. I don't disagree with that. It's been a rough stretch to start the season for old Colt Keith. Another 0 for day today. He was 0 for 3. He did draw 1 walk. Spencer Torkelson continues to be a bright spot in the early portion of the season. 1 for 3 tonight, but Zach McKinstry with 2 more hits. He had an RBI as well. And how about Manuel Margo? I mean, another RBI for him. Tre Sweeney with the 3rd RBI in that. And I thought, the Tigers would get a little something going late with that triple from Jake Rogers. And again, they don't have they haven't shown the ability to compile that big inning with a big hit. And you need to have more productive at bats when the moments matter the most with runners in scoring position. And again, you get 6 guys left on base, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And I mean, that's not egregious like it had been in previous games, but it's not getting the job done. So 7-3 final in this one. The Dodgers 5-0, the Tigers 0-3. So not good, as they say, but appreciate everybody tuning on into a live Locked On Tigers postcast, your post-game destination, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube as well. But Reese Olson putting forth a good effort, trying to get out of that last inning, or get that last out in the 5th inning. And unfortunately, Teoscar had other plans. And that, my friends, is what we're talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I felt like this was the deflating blow delivered by the Dodgers that's almost inevitable. At least it seems like it's inevitable in the first 5 games for the Dodgers season. I was talking to my grandfather about this, just 1 through 9. It's just any guy holding the bat for the LA Dodgers has the potential to hurt you. And tonight it was another home run from Freddie Freeman, and it was another 2-run double from Teoscar Hernandez, and they just keep coming at you 1 through 9. And I know it's very, very early, and everyone can make fun of me, can tease me, whatever it may be, but we might be witnessing one of the all-time greatest teams ever assembled. And yes, obviously the payroll and they went all in and everything that I was reading a lot of the comments from yesterday's show that people, I think, hate the Dodgers. And that's probably going to be, me pointing out the obvious, sure. But at the same time, like this team, depending on the success they have, it might not be a far stretch to say they could become one of the more hated teams in any sport and the history of all professional sports, because they just have an aura about them that they're good, they're bought and paid for. Yes, all that's true, but at the end of the day, I've said this yesterday, and I would agree, and I would reiterate it, that I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Dodgers fans because you have an all-star team assembled, and you spent a lot of money to get it, and the Tigers did not. But that's the talking about segment. Dodgers with 2 more on the in the bottom of the 5th that really felt like that stretch that broke the tie, and then just based on the way the Tigers were assembling at bats, you didn't feel like they really had a shot to come back. And then when the Dodgers added one more in the bottom of the 6th, again, it's like, my goodness, I mean, they just keep coming at you. Although I don't know if I want to give the credit for the runs in the bottom of the 7th, and we'll talk about this more. But you got Kenta Maeda pitching, and Edman comes in with the home run, Freddie Freeman with the double, and it's just like, I mean, Kenta Maeda is just working batting practice meatballs over the plate, and the Dodgers are teeing off. It felt like he's the opposite of a victory cigar. Kenta Maeda is. You put him in, and it's like waving the white flag. Like we're giving up on this game. Let's take the sweep and get on with the off day tomorrow before going to Seattle, because Kenta Maeda is pitching. We have no chance in winning this game. All right. We are going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will have our player of the game. We'll have a turning point in the game, and we'll continue to take your comments. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started on a live Locked On Tigers post-game show. It's your postcast. Back in a moment on Locked On Tigers. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Supply House. That's right. You guys know all about Supply House, and I know about Supply House because we've been telling you all about Supply House, because when you are a pro and you need the supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, you look to Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Easy to use website. It's packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right. Not semi-right, not mostly right, done right. With a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. That sounds like a winning combination right there. So if you need help with an order, don't worry. Supply House offers support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trademaster program, and yes, I did not stutter, free Trademaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trademaster program at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com. Today's episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is also brought to you by Game Time. Make no mistake about it, my friends. It's time to get to the games in person, because baseball is here, and there's nothing better than catching an MLB game live. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and even the smell of the ballpark food. And if you're looking to go last minute, well, guess what? Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. With last minute ticket deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guaranteed, Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, tickets drop as the game time gets closer. What a concept. The closer you get to first pitch, the lower the prices get. It's amazing, my friends. And if you want a spontaneous game night, that's right, a spontaneous game night, you can grab last minute tickets for a game, and they're at unbeatable prices. That's the best combination right there. More money for you in your pocket. You can spend it on food, on merchandise, whatever it may be. And how about the Game Time Picks feature? This makes finding the best deal effortless. It filters out the fluff, and it just highlights the top discounts in the stadium. Bada boom, bada boom. You got to love it. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create that account, my friends. Redeem code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Tigers lose to the Dodgers. They're swept out of Dodgers Stadium. Final tonight, 7-3. Reese Olson gets hit with the loss. He's 0-1. And I mentioned he went 4 2/3, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, struck out 5. He did walk 2. And it's a bummer of a 3-game series. I mean, because there was last night, again, it felt like you had victory taken away from you, or at least put yourself in quite the position to be victorious, both with the run in the 9th to extend the game, and then what looked like a difficult overturn, although people really got after me in the comments yesterday, which, by the way, I appreciate. I mean, I love that's what this is about. I mean, I've got an opinion, you've got an opinion, and we argue and we have fun, and it's sports, and then the next game is played, and that's how it should be. But a couple more comments to get to before we get to our turning point and then our player of the game. Here's Johnny, says Pistons over Tigers 100%. Yeah, that's right. We would love to see the Pistons continue with that great effort that they've shown, the best, not even in opinion, factually the best turnaround from season to season. All right, player of the game tonight, not really that exciting, I got to be honest with you. Or maybe we'll go turning point. Let's go turning point first.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Tonight, I felt like the game was lost when the Tigers were unable to build that lead early on. I mean, 2 runs with 8 of the first 12 batters reaching. And then, I mean, they must have had, 15, 16 in a row retired. Maybe not that many, but I'll have to go back and double check the box score. But they just, the bats went cold, and 2 runs against a team like the Dodgers is just not enough. So I felt like the inability to capitalize on opportunities there earlier in the game is the turning point in this one. And the Tigers will have to be better in clutch situations with runners on and in runners in scoring position to get that big hit and start to stockpile crooked numbers and a more consistent effort offensively to help this starting pitching rotation out, and of course the bullpen out as well. And maybe, teaming up to begin the season or drawing the Dodgers. That's a tough way to begin, and we'll be having different conversations as the season progresses. Let's hope that's the case. But again, just overall disappointing open to the season for the last 3 games. But was neat to see Jack Flaherty get his ring. I'll add that real quick. The FanDuel Sports Network telecast did a good job of highlighting that, and neat to see for Jack Flaherty, and even better to see him in a Tigers uniform. There's no doubt about that. But player of the game time here on a live Locked On Tigers postcast.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's nothing super exciting here. I mean, I wish I had better a better way of articulating this segment. I guess I got to choose a player of the game, but if you look at the Tigers roster up and down, there's just nobody. So Freddie Freeman has another home run. He's got 2 RBI tonight. And just for Freddie Freeman, I mean, just hitting the cover off the ball with the 2 home runs in this series. Again, Teoscar Hernandez with the 2 RBI double. Just an overall bummer of a game. So we'll go with Freddie Freeman as the player of the game for the Dodgers. Not really anything going. I mentioned Sasaki's first start. Left a lot to be desired for Roki. I mean, yes, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back, but just an inning and 2/3. I mean, that first inning, he threw 40 plus pitches. You're not going to win a lot of games doing that. And maybe it's worth tying a bow on it, but Kenta Maeda, I put this on Twitter and I'll just repeat it. It didn't work. It was a bad signing. It was a bad deal. We had to watch him enough last year. The thought of watching Kenta Maeda trot out there in either a relief appearance or as a starter is nauseating. He's just not a good player. And it's like surrendering. It's like the surrender cobra sending him out there. You just put your hands up, wave the white flag. Hey, we lost this game because Kenta Maeda is pitching. And that's not personal. I'm sure he's a great guy, and he seems like a great clubhouse guy and everything. You just can't get people out. I mean, and as a pitcher, that's a problem. It's just the first pitch he throws, it's just catches so much plate, and it's a home run. I mean, my goodness. And I'm not making fun of, because I love Dan Dickerson. It was great to hear him on the call, but he literally said there was a lot to like about Kenta Maeda's spring, and then crack of the bat, home run, just like that. And it's a bummer because it seems like this team has better options out of the bullpen than Kenta Maeda. So Edmonds homer there, I mean, goes 396 feet. And it kind of felt like that. Not that the Tigers were coming back at that point, but it really, sealed the fate of the Detroit Tigers having him pitch. So those are my 2 cents, worth less than that, but appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, off day tomorrow, back at it late Monday night, and we will be on the air after the Tigers the Tigers and Mariners. But tomorrow we've got a Locked On Pistons postcast. So head over to Locked On Sports Detroit for that. Pistons are in Minnesota, taking on the Timberwolves tomorrow night at 7. So we'll have a Locked On Pistons postcast after that on Locked On Sports Detroit if you want to join us. But as always, thanks so much for tuning in. Shout out to the real ones that are staying up late with us after some West Coast baseball. Hopefully the Tigers will find a way to get back in the win column. Enjoy the off day tomorrow. Join us for Locked On Pistons postcast. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll talk to you next time on Locked On Tigers post game. Good night.